Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your 7 minutes.
My colleague has a point of information. Senator DeGraff, I'm not sure you heard him.
Mr. Chair?
I did not. Senator DeGraff. Francis Heyliger, you're recognized.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to my colleagues, to the people of the territory. Good afternoon to the listening audience, the staff at the legislature. I know this is our second go around at this because we had a situation where quite a bit of the testifiers at the last meeting were not able to attend. The first question I want to ask has to do with, I'll direct this to the representative from Southland. We had an individual sitting here in the chambers that was trying to explain something, but we have decided that they cannot testify. I need some clarity because there seems to be a little bit back and forth as to who was invited and who participated in a cleanup at the racetrack here in the District of St. Thomas, St. John, Clinton East. So I'm asking the question whether through the commissioner or through Southland, please give us some detail. Did a cleanup exist in regards to horse owners participating to assist with cleaning up the track?
That's correct, Senator. Horse owners did participate in the cleanup. However, it wasn't the Horse Racing Association. And I think that's where the mix-up is.
Okay. I think we get some clarity. So we had owners that care for the track and they got together and they reached out to organizations to include Southland who said, we will assist. Does Southland have any legal obligation as of this moment to assist with the maintenance of the track?
No, Senator, we do not. We were very happy to be a part of this cleanup association that happened the other day. And like I said, there was horse, like the commissioner said, there was horse owners. I'd like to clarify that. And Southland also participated with bringing the youth there out there. And we pay for the backhoe, the equipment that you will use to do the cleanup.
So with no obligation whatsoever, because based on what I heard here, you guys are still going through negotiations to even get access to be able to do your part of an obligation of a contract. Once that's finalized, you will have the ability to access it. But outside of any obligation, you have been assisting.
That's correct, Senator.
That brings a lot of clarity to that. I also wanted to clean up something else because I'm an avid reader. One of the things that was discussed here had to do with the Horse Racing Improvement Fund and utilizing monies from that to clean up the track.
Correct.
I have been participating and following along with this for a very long time, and I am fully understanding that VIGL requested to be bifurcated in their contract so they would solely be dealing with the horse track on St. Croix. What I heard the commissioner say when they made that request and it was granted, they also removed the 4 maintenance individuals that they had here in the District of St. Thomas, St. John to deal with the maintenance. Now, it then reverted back, from my understanding, to Sports, Parks, and Recreation.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So now Sports, Parks, and Recreation, along with the Racing Commission, it has tapped into the Horse Racing Improvement Fund to utilize some of these monies to maintain, clean up, do whatever to the racetrack, because this is what these monies are for. Am I following this correctly?
Correct.
One of the things that was stated here earlier is, why were the horsemen not a part of this discussion? And like I said, I'm an avid reader. And if anybody or any of the senators or the public took the time out to go and read Title 33, Subchapter 3, Chapter 111, 3044, it speaks to the Horse Racing Improvement Fund. And there's an entire outline and detail as to how this money is to be collected, how it's supposed to be monitored by finance. It speaks to who is supposed to distribute these monies. And it specifically says, and I want to read the last section of it. This is the most important part. Monies deposited in the Horse Racing Improvement Fund may be spent on improvements to the maintenance of horse racing within the Virgin Islands and for the operations of the Racing Commission.
You are 100% correct, Senator.
So the narrative that I'm here listening to, is it based on our own law? These monies are collected for the operation of the commission and to maintain and improve horse racing. So I am a little confused at the message that's being put out to the public right now that something is being done wrong when all that's happening is you're following what the law says. So I'm going to ask the Horse Racing Commission, have you guys have access to this money? Because from what I'm understanding, it's some over $300,000. Have you guys had any access to this $300,000? Because some of it is supposed to be used for your operations.
Not prior to
1
what you
minute.
see, no.
So you've never used a dime of it?
No.
So when my colleague was asking about Facebook and putting out information to the public, do you guys have employees to assist with getting any of this done?
No.
So based on what I'm hearing now, some of these monies could be utilized to assist you guys with running an operation to really help the horsemen in this territory.
Correct.
So I'm
30
I'm
seconds.
sitting here very perplexed because if we are going to be serious about horse racing, we have to stop trying to twist and create narratives and put out to the public that are not factual. The law is the law. It is what it is. We have to stop it. I need to ask one more question. When we spoke about the horse racing associations, are these associations?
Time.
Mr. Chair, may I ask my last question in this round, please?
Yes, you may wrap up.
Thank you. Are these associations, and I'm speaking to both sets of the representatives, are these associations organizations as private nonprofit organizations that have the ability to vote? Because I see representatives here. How do you get people to represent the horsemen within these organizations? Are you guys in good standing? How does these organizations work? Because I know the Racing Commission is under the government, but whenever you guys are here and saying you're representing the horsemen, from my understanding and the public's understanding, how are you guys set up? How do you help the horsemen? And how do you guys decide who's in leadership? And are both of the organizations in good standing as to the way they run currently? Thank you. I know there was the flamboyant, and I know Ms. Ferret was there, and that's to both of the associations that are there. Both of them could answer me.
Okay, for the St. Thomas St. John Horsemen Association, we have election that goes through it was the prior commission. They was the entity that would oversee the voting results. Then we have applications that we give out to our members for them to fill in the information for the owners of the horses and trainers. And yes, we are in good standing with the government.
Excellent, thank you. Flamboyant?
We do have elections run by the commission, and we are currently...
Sir, could you put your name on the record, please?
Elroy Bates Jr., President, Flamboyant Park Horseman Association. We do have elections which are run by the commission, and we are currently not in good standings due to the previous association. They did nothing, but we are currently working on it.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the additional time.
You are welcome. So, Alma Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your point of inquiry.
Thank you so much. Point of inquiry through the chair to the testifiers. Representative of Southland, as well as Commissioner White. I am sitting here and I'm getting a very, very concerned as to the narrative that I'm hearing right now in regards to the separation of the build out of the tracks in the two different districts. From listening to this conversation, it seems that in short order, the St. Thomas track seems to be flowing and going in a direction of potentially getting to be built. I'm hearing a lot in regards to the St. Croix district and their track, where I'm hearing a lot of, we don't know, we can't say, we don't have a timeline. So I'm very, 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 very concerned about this. The question I want to ask, when the bifurcation happened in separating VIGL, St. Croix by itself, St. Thomas is now by itself, did VIGL retain any ownership in regards to the contract to control anything inside of the Clinton E fixed rates track here in the district of St. Thomas, St. John? Because there was a discussion in regards to promotion. And I'm seriously trying to understand that if we're hearing a lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda, maybe we'll get there, because I really want St. Croix to get their track. If they still have a part to do with the promotion aspect, I don't want to hear coulda, woulda, shoulda. So I'm a little bit concerned. Could you clarify for me and the public what is happening after this bifurcation, and does VIGL have anything additional, yes, no, maybe so, in regards to the track when it comes to the District of St. Thomas, St. John, as it relates to promotions?
Senator, I'll try to answer that question. Shane Gasport, Southland Gaming Chief Operating Officer. Yeah, once the bifurcation happened, Southland Gaming and once they're approved, Southland Gaming has a development agreement. We wish the St. Croix development much luck. We hope that we are going to deliver the racetrack and the structures on time, hopefully before time. And we hopefully at this time are still in talks with VIGL to be the promotions of the track. We very much hope they would do.
And if that happens to fall through Commissioner of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, what is the procedure in dealing with the promotion aspect in this district? Because I want St. Croix to succeed, but I really want to know what's going on with VIGL, because that seems to be a lot of where the question is coming from.
So let me put it on the record that VIGL has been a great steward to the Virgin Islands so far. They have given over $100,000 in purses and assistance to the St. Thomas St. John Horse Racing Association. In the time when they were on the track, they was maintaining the track. The running surface was laid down on St. Thomas, and all of this was done before the execution of the franchise agreement. So I want to make that clear. Okay. It is the hope that once Southland builds the construction or finishes the construction, that VIGL is the promoter. Okay. I can't speak on whether they are going to say they don't want to be or not. That's for them. But that is the hope that they remain the promoter. If not, the Department of Sports, Park, and Recreation was who promoted the track before this deal was put in place. And again, I don't want to throw VIGL under the bus, but the negotiations that are going on right now has nothing to do with the running surface. If they wanted to put down the running surface on St. Croix today, they could do that. So just want to put that on the record.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chair, I want to thank you for the indulgence, but could the representative of VIGL please, if he could respond to what the commissioner said, because that seems to be one of the contentions as to earlier when he said the material for the running surface is there on the track. So why are you just not putting it down in the interim while you go back and forth in these negotiations to make sure that our St. Croix counterparts have something to utilize during this negotiation process? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Welcome, Senator.
Jason Williams, VIGL Operations. And again, I think I kind of responded to this before in simply saying that the running surface is just part of the project in itself. And until we get to the point where we have some agreement and then we conclude our conversations successfully with the government, that's just not something that's being considered at this stage.
And we have a few point of inquiry. Senator Alma Francis Heyliger, you're recognized.
Thank you so much. I just need some quick clarity quickly in regards to what my colleague was just asking when it comes to good standing of the associations. One of the things that I believe Ms. Fruette said that the last commission oversaw their elections. So when you say you guys don't do it, I'm a little bit confused now because that is what I understood. And apparently that's what my colleague understood. So you guys have nothing to do with making sure they're in good standing as associations. This is to the commission.
And Albert White is also
part of the commission.
As well as dealing with their elections, or maybe we misunderstood.
So the elections is done by the association.
Okay.
Now they to receive government funds, that's where the good standings and all of that come in. To receive those funds, they should be in good standing.
Ms. Furette, when you made reference to the commission assisting or overseeing your elections, could you better explain that to us?
Yes, I can, and I also have Mr. Hendrickson online now. When we put out for elections, the commission is the entity that looks over it. None of the individuals who are voted on looks at the ballots. The ballots go to the commission, and they're the one who does the tabulations.
Okay, well, this commission apparently has no knowledge of this. So may I ask, when was the last time you guys had an election? Because maybe the members of this one have no clue because they did not conduct or oversee one in a long time.
No, we the last election was with the prior commission.
Keep in mind, Senator, there's no longer the St. Thomas, St. John Horse Racing Commission. It's now the Territorial Horse Racing Commission.
Okay, so they might be coming for elections. So.
But they still should be responsible for overseeing it.
Okay.
Noted.
Well, at least we get some clarity on the commission. You just heard that. Could I just ask my last question quickly?
You may wrap up,
Mr.
but I believe
Chair.
also Senator, the president for the Flamboyant Association would like to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Elroy Bates Jr., President, Flamboyant Park Horseman Association. This current commission oversaw our elections and St. Croix.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna, my time is out, so I'm gonna go to my next question because apparently there's a dispute between what the commission does, what it knows, and what it doesn't know. So y'all figure that one out. The last question I really wanna find out is, in the interim, is there anything, whether through the government, in assistance, or really trying to help the horsemen? Because what I keep hearing has to do with trying to feed the horses, trying to maintain them, just trying to hold on until we could have horse racing up and running in the districts again. Is there anything that could assist while VIGL is trying to negotiate their contract? Is there any programs out there or anything that could assist the horsemen in any way possible? Because this is sounding like this is turning into a grave situation while they're trying to keep hope and holding a sport alive here in this territory. Could you share that with me?
Senator, I am not aware if the funds that comes to the commission can be used for that assistance. And I said I'm not aware. Possibly can. I would think that the proper entity to give the horsemen some assistance with feed and all that would be the Department of Agriculture. I know they have several programs, so that may be an avenue to assist the horsemen.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, for the time, and hopefully the Commissioner of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, as this is a sport, could potentially tap in or maybe have a conversation with agriculture to see if we could come up with something to really help the horsemen in the interim while we get horse racing back up and running. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Let me recognize Senator Francis. You're recognized. Francis Heyliger.
Afternoon, once again. Point of inquiry through the chair to Mr. Turnbull. I don't want to leave here with questions in my head, and I want to make sure myself and the public is fully understanding. What are one of the responsibilities, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, if someone comes to the commission and says that they are a horse racing association, how do you as the commission verify that they're legitimate, that they're in good standing, that you have the right to oversee them? How do you guys do that part of it? Because with the back and forth and trying to understand who oversees the elections, etc., and something that concerned me, because earlier we know that it's one territorial commission, but the gentleman in St. Croix said the St. Croix members oversaw their election. So
we have members, Sheldon Turnbull.
I'm confused as to how you're one, but it seems still separate. So how do we make sure that all of these entities are actually they're correct and they're under your purview?
Sheldon Turnbull Horse Race Commission. It's one commission. However, we have members from both districts.
Okay.
When they were having their elections, the individuals who were present on St. Croix was Commissioner Dodson James and Commissioner Ron Phillips. They went there. They looked at they basically counted the votes and aspects of that. That's when they were referencing that we have it. That's why I said no.
Okay.
But in essence, they counted the votes. They were there for when they were doing the voting and the different aspects of it. Being that they were the two on St. Croix at the time,
okay,
they were the two that did it. If I go back and forth, if I happen to be there, I would have joined them as well.
Okay.
But that's basically how it functions.
And in making sure members that you guys oversee, can anybody just come in and say, hey, I created a horse racing association? How do you guys verify that they're legitimate association?
The Horse Racing Association is based on, I think Commissioner White might be able to better answer that, is based on the recognized entity, and we do that, I believe, based on numbers.
Well, they should be able to show, any association should be able to show the 50C13 documentation. They should also have a list of the members that is under that horse racing association.
Okay.
Now, currently on St. Thomas, there is the St. Thomas St. John Horse Racing Association. However, there is another association that also have members under their purview. Now, I don't know if they're in good standing or they're currently active. That's disputable. But the documentation requested should be those of the Lieutenant Governor, nonprofit status, good standing, members associated with the association, all of that.
Okay. Thank you so much for shedding a little bit more clarity.
Senator Alma Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your 5 minutes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Good afternoon once again to my colleagues. Good afternoon to the people of the territory. Good afternoon to the testifiers as well as the staff here at the legislature. Commissioner Oriole, does the DPNR has the capacity to, from a staff standpoint, to handle this at the moment outside of what you might do with the MO memorandum of understanding between you and Sports Parks and Recreation?
Senator, no, we have been trying to bring on board additional staff to assist us. We believe that the additional staff that'll be necessary is going to be about 3 persons to just start with the framework and then going through the planning exercise as well.
I know this has to do with the transfer section, but in anticipation of that, was there any work done to see the potential economic impact of any of this happening, development of some of these locations and what it possibly could mean economically to this territory?
Yes, Senator. So, and that I think is one of the big impetuses for the creation of the trust. This is a discussion that has been happening for decades. And what has happened is that persons who want to donate land funding for the natural resources and such have over the last several years that at least I've been around, feel more comfortable with a trust setup and having a board of directors and things get placed directly into the trust. If we look at a parallel program, which is called the Caribbean Challenge Initiative, that most of the CARICOM countries are involved in, they also have trusts set up to maintain the funding that the state or country puts in for their state park system. And then they're eligible for private donations from private entities, matching funds, if you will, in order to move and advance the certain initiative.
So by doing this, this would potentially open additional doors for funding as well as donors that might have an ease of use of saying, hey, I'm willing to do this. Okay, excellent. Where do you guys think you're going to tap to get these funding for these potentially additional 3 people?
So, Senator, actually, this year, fiscal year 2022, the 34th legislature did allot to us $250,000. So we developed earlier this year
2 minutes.
The scope of work for the territorial director, park director position. We did shop it around. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of takers. So, we're reaching out through networks to, we really want to be able to bring somebody with some park experience into the team in DPNR to be able to assist us. But it's going to be a little bit different because, again, we're building something sort of from the ground up.
Okay.
But we have been looking for several months in trying to get that, in bringing on board people. Had a lot of interest. We're also looking at some internal candidates as well.
Okay. Well, when it comes to grant writing, you guys actively plan on pursuing someone that could be full-time, or because I'm hearing the creation of these different things, but I also know we have to maintain it with money. And I know
1 minute.
When it comes to heritage and preserved properties, there's a lot of funding out there that this agency or both agencies could keep actively going after. Do you intend on trying to get someone full-time as a grant writer?
So I would say, Senator, that if you work for DPNR, you automatically become a grant writer. and that's why of our $70 million budget, we only get $10 million from the central government. 55 million of it is coming from writing our grants and such. So it's definitely something that we include in the job specification. But the opportunities, like you said, they are out there, primarily under USDA and the forestry programs, as well as the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And some of these, we've actually been doing some background work this year to get ourselves in the conversation for the Southeastern District. If I may conclude, Senator.
You may.
And so we've gotten ourselves now aligned with the region, and they had never heard from us really on a lot of the wildlife grants. And so we've positioned ourselves now, alerting them that hey, we will in fact be coming in making ourselves known, particularly opportunities so that we can develop our product here in the territory.
Excellent, thank you. Just to wrap up, I am in support of this piece of legislation because as a Virgin Islander, I'm very proud to have been born and raised on an island, and we have beautiful properties here. And if we're going to utilize some of them as pristine locations as well as developing some for use, I think by doing this assists us in a way that we could push forward and make it happen in a positive way. So thank you, Mr. Chair, for the additional time.
You're very, very welcome. Francis Heyliger, you recognize.
Good afternoon once again. Quickly, Commissioner Oriole, I want to know in regards to identifying, have you guys identified or you're planning on working with preservation groups? I know you started to talk about people coming and donating, but there's already existing groups out there that could potentially assist you guys with identifying other locations that, do you guys plan on working with them, or are you currently engaged with any preservation groups?
Absolutely, Senator. Like I said, this is something that is ages old. I personally was first working with the Nature Conservancy on a number of the things that we're discussing here, some of the larger tracts of land that are in part of the discussion in terms of what the potentials are. There's also the ability to work with the VI Trust for Public Land, because again, that is an entity who is out there and it's supposed to be an intermediate stop for land, but it's to be preserved. And so those are the types of all the entities that are out there that will enable us to fulfill a goal of conservation and preservation is who will be working.
Okay, thank you. Property and procurement. I know you were sharing a listing of the various properties. I would like to know, what was the strategy created to come up with some of these listings and how you guys compiled this listing? What was the whole thought process as to how some of these things even made it on the list?
Thank you, Senator Vincent Richards, Property and Procurement. Honestly, I mean, I called some experts and folks in the community to give me insight and suggestions. I called folks that were inside government, outside government. These two gentlemen to my right, I work with them closely at all times. So it was a collaborative effort.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, for the additional time.
And you're welcome, Senator Francis Heyliger. Senator Franklin D. Johnson, you are recognized for your point of inquiry.
My question is to the Commission of DPNR. Are your staff back full with you, or are they still on the task force?
My enforcement staff?
Yes, sir.
No, they're all returned to the department, Senator.
You said they have returned.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Senator DeGraff, you are recognized for your 3 minutes. 2 minutes, sorry. 2 minutes, Senator
Okay, 2
DeGraff.
minutes. First I vote yes. We'll go to the vote one time.